Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this videos, we are going to be doing a breakdown of the cinematic that I did, the Coming Home cinematic. As always, link in the description below. I've actually done several videos about this, breaking down how I did certain things. So how to retarget the animations, how to do sequencer and all kinds of stuff. But for this one, I want to break down how I did the shots, why I took certain specific shots, what changes I did to the map, and how I dealt with using a marketplace asset. Now, I know you are wondering, where is the fancy intro for this week? There is nothing behind me but my boring room. I'm actually doing a character for the Virtus Studio. That's the Dev Squad channel. If you watch that YouTube channel, he's a guy that's done a lot of Unreal stuff. And I didn't have the time to do a fancy intro for this one. Okay, I'm gonna give you some burning behind me. Now, I have broken down this in two parts of what I say videos because it's a little bit too long, and I know some people in the channel do not like long videos. If you want to watch them back to back, they're going to be on a playlist that contains all the videos with all the things that I used to make this cinematic happen. As always, if you want to support the channel, please join my Patreon. There's some cool perks that you're gonna get. There's also Twitter, follow me there. There's Discord. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notification. Now, let's get into the video. All right, now here in Unreal, this is the map that I used to create the Coming Home cinematic. So if you're new to the channel, if you just stumble upon this video, I have a series of videos that go through all the process that I went through with the cinematic, and actually the cinematic should be in the description down below, and so will be that playlist. So this is the medieval map that Quixel put out, I think almost a month ago. And it's a really cool map, has a ton of stuff that you can just pull out and use on other projects. More specifically, the landscape material, which is really cool. I also did a video on that. If you want to use it for your own projects, it's a really cool material that has a lot of blending, and it also has the runtime virtual texturing. If you want to do that nice blending that you see in the Goddess Temple Quixel video, which you can do by using shadows, which is something that you don't have on Pixel Offset, which is the other method of blending that's usually very famous. Now let's get on to this map. Originally, there's a couple of things. I just did some modifications to the map, very minor. I didn't do any optimization whatsoever. Fortunately, I was able to get a 3090 a couple weeks ago. So I'm running on it, and it's running smooth as butter. By the way, if you're a YouTuber and you're recording stuff from Unreal, or if you just want to record stuff from Unreal to showcase to a client or to showcase to someone else, make sure you use Shadowplay if you have an NVIDIA GPU, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, because Shadowplay really helps out with the frames per second. If you use OBS, chances are your FPS are going down because of running OBS and Unreal at the same time, especially on a map as heavy as this one. Actually, I do have the DLSS setting installed on this one, but I have it off. So as you can see, it still behaves over 40. So this is a fairly heavy map. So even if with a 3090, I'm doing 40 frames per second, that means this is a really heavy map. So if you're having problems with this map, either install the DLSS plugin, which I highly recommend. It's really cool for working on viewport. If you don't know how to do that, I also have a video on the channel. If not, then my best recommendation is to go here to settings and just scalability, and just change that from cinematic to medium or high depending on your system. This will really help out with your viewport performance. And once you're ready to render, if you're doing movie render queue or any other kind of render, you can just choose to go back to cinematics and things will be all right. Just so you know that you have that option. Now, sorry about that. I just needed to introduce a little bit of what I'm gonna be doing. And let's talk about the map. So this is a starting area, I think, when you start playing the game, because this is actually come with like a playable part. It's a first person kind of deal. This is the first area that I added my character to. And this is where we start. We actually, I did a small storyboard, nothing too big, of me like looking at the sky. Then we go down, you know, so we can look at the forest, and then we can look at our night. Oh, sorry, this is a little bit too fast. Then we can look at our night walking, and I didn't want to have him center all the time, so that's why I choose to kind of use that camera, and I think I have the camera right around here. By the way, once you open this map, you're also going to have this orange blocks which are usually in the way. If you want to get rid of them without having to delete them so you can still play, you can just go to this folder right here, says blocking volumes, that's all they are, and turn them off, and that's it. So they are game objects, so they will not be rendered if you're rendering a cinematic like I did. So right now you can see I have this camera right here. So this is my camera, and right now it's looking all the way up, and this guy has already passed this camera. So this camera actually comes back from over there and gets past this guy. In order for me to show you how things are doing, I need to add my sequencer back in. So you can see when you load your project, your sequencer doesn't load up. You need to add your sequence. So you just go here, cinematics, and let's do cinematic night. It's gonna take a second to load, and there is my sequence. So I'm just going to enlarge this. If you're interested in knowing how to use sequencer, I also have a video which is part of this playlist. So go check that out if you're new to sequencer. But as you can see, my night is moving, and so is my camera. And by the way, one thing, I don't know if you've noticed, I have right here on my editor, it says HLOD clusters need to be rebuilt. This is part of the LODs in the overall map, but they won't show up on my project once I render. That being said, if this is bothering you, all you have to do is go build and build LODs, and you should be fine. Now, if you see what my camera is looking like, it actually goes from the top. It's from very high up, and it goes all the way down, because, so you can see, if you keep seeing this right here, one of the shots that I wanted to make was from the top of the map. The problem with making a shot from the top of the landscape is that this map is a contained scenario. So if you go to look at the rest of the things, they are not only really high poly, but some of them don't look correct. So that's why I limit the shot of my camera to this height. And then I just chose to pan down. And once I got to a certain position, you can actually see this guy starts walking before I get there, because once I get to a certain position, I already want him to be walking towards the camera and past the camera. One of the cool things about this particular asset, and this is an asset that was free a little while ago. I have all these assets listed on the cinematic video. This is a very cool asset because it comes with the cloth modifier or cloth deformation or whatever that's called, I forgot. But it really helps out with this little cape that he has. So as he walks, when right now it's not doing anything, but once you are running your sequence, it actually works. It starts to flow with the wind, and it looks really nice. So that's one of the reasons why I really loved using this particular asset. So he goes walking, and he goes past the camera, and it took me a little bit to set up that shot so I can synchronize that animation with the camera movement, because the movement that I was using, it was movement in place. It was an animation walking in place. So I had to move him, like I have to do the transformation via the gizmo. So it took me a while to figure out how many steps. There is not a guide that I can give you about that, because it depends on the animation that you're using. So for this one in particular, it took me some frames, and you can see that once he hits this frame, he stops walking. The reason why it's that is because, again, I'm trying to do this as like a filmic setting, so I'm not going to follow him actually. And this is going to probably break a little bit of the immersion that I created when making this film. This is the end of this shot when he gets past that. And then we go to shot number 2. And funny enough, shot number 2 is actually very far away from this point.